give me an idea of what you thought your performance was like during tonight's debate.
Well, I made my case as to why Democrats should elect me. And I believe that's because Ohio needs a comeback economically and in population, and I've delivered that for the people of Cincinnati. I've also done even harder things like get innocent people out of prison. And so I've gotten results throughout my career, and I can get results for the people of Ohio.
And one thing I noticed during the debate was there wasn't a lot of back and forth, just bickering like we have seen in other debates, including the Republican debate that was had for the Senate candidates. So give me an idea of why that was tonight.
Look, we're trying to beat Mike DeWine and the Republicans. We're all Democrats, and we're going to support the Democratic nominee. The question is, who's the best Democrat to beat Mike DeWine? And I think, given how I've improved the economic condition of my city and the wages in my city more so than Mike DeWine, I think I'm the best candidate.
And one thing we've noticed in Ohio is this increasing trend of more and more voters voting Republican. So it's definitely going to be a challenge to try to convince voters to vote for a Democrat for governor. So how do you think you're going to be able to overcome that challenge?
I believe that Ohio is still a swing state. I think, though, that Ohioans vote for the person that they believe will do the best for their community and their economic condition for equal opportunity. And, look, my people have my middle class has grown. The wages in my city are going up. And the opposite is true for Mike DeWine and the Republicans. So I think that's a compelling message to take across the state.
And you have been promoting that comeback story of Cincinnati, and you want more Ohioans to realize that you think that that is possible for the state. So how do you think you're going to get Ohioans on board with this big comeback?
Well, first of all, my city was in decline like so much of Ohio. So comebacks are possible. And they're possible when we implement our values, higher wages, police community relations reform, clean energy, public transit. These things have helped build our city's comeback. And if we expand those values and policies across the state will come back too.
And what policies in particular do you think are going to be the biggest challenge in getting people on board with, and just the biggest challenge of just implementing?
Well, look, we promised to do three big things. Create 30,000 jobs a year to pay $60,000, a middle-class salary to build the infrastructure our state needs, like high-speed broadband and clean energy. We're going to pay for those jobs by legalizing marijuana, using the taxes to pay for the jobs, and to provide a dividend of $500 per family for families that make $75,000 a year or less. These are real, specific ideas that can meaningfully improve the quality of life of Ohioans and their communities.
One common theme during tonight's debate was Ohio's future and what that will look like. So what does the future for the state of Ohio look like in your eyes?
Well, if we change leadership, a brighter future of growth. I mean, as I said, the Republicans love to quote Reagan, who said, "Are you better off today than you were when the other guy took over?" Well, since Mike DeWine and the Republicans have run our state, the average Ohioan has made less money and is doing worse. My people are doing better. And so if we change leadership and bring in leadership that knows how to get things done, we'll have a brighter future for our kids and grandkids.
What do you think have been the most problematic things to happen during Governor DeWine's administration?
Well, I don't have time to go through them all because it would take too long, but I'll just mention a few. The biggest corruption scandal in the history of the state that is literally making people poorer. The Stand Your Ground bill, which was an insult to communities of color less than a year after George Floyd. Permitless carry, which is declaring open season on the cops. The cops themselves have opposed it, saying it's going to lead to more cops getting killed, not to mention more people in general. And so, those are just three off the top of my head.
One thing also that, was discussed during the debate today was police reform. As you just mentioned, what happened after George Floyd and how different communities in the state responded with police reform. So my question for you is, you said that you wouldn't put out an executive order for qualified immunity. So I want to hear more of your thoughts on why you say you wouldn't do something like that.
It would make it impossible to recruit and keep police officers, and will lead. What communities need are better policing, not less policing. Qualified immunity would lead to a mass exodus from the important profession that we have. But like I said, we do need reform, and we need reform in use of force, in body cameras, and transparency, and civilian review, and community-oriented policing.
And I think most people can agree that some reform and some changes are definitely needed. And one of the things that have been a barrier to those changes being implemented and to them being taken seriously is police unions. So how would you work with unions to ensure that those changes that need to happen, happen?
I'm the only mayor in America last year, in 2020, a year and a half ago, to get police reform on arbitration reform, make it easier to fire and discipline officers who do something wrong. I did that by negotiating with the FOP. Leadership's about getting results, and I've gotten results repeatedly.
Is there anything else you want to add and want voters to know as we're getting closer and closer to the primary election?
Thanks for your time. As you know, I co-founded this project, which has gotten 34 people out of prison. I led a comeback in my city of Cincinnati, and I will do hard things by getting Ohio to grow again with jobs, legal marijuana, and a dividend in people's pockets.
Former Cincinnati Mayor and gubernatorial candidate John Cranley, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a great night.